Welcome to Annexed Dinner Table. I'm Cassandra. Today I'm going to be opening Fury of Dracula. This is a game for 2 to 5 players where one player will be playing as Count Dracula, trying to take over London with his horde of undead that he's making. The other players are playing as the hunters. These players are trying to kill all of the vampires, including Dracula and his whole horde. Who will win? But that's not what we're here for. We're here to see what's inside the box. So let's open it. I really like the box with this map in the background that you can also see peeking through the bats that you just think of when you think of Dracula, and then there's just this like background of his house. Okay. We have the rule book, which isn't too bad. It doesn't seem 16 pages. It's not quite as big as the box. It looks like a little bit bigger than a normal size book, but still fairly book size. Setup, 2 pages, not bad. And then game. We do seem to have quite a few of these little borders that are examples. Winning. The game happens on page 9. Then additional rules. Okay. Then advanced rules also. We have rules reference, which is a little strange. This is cool that it's not the same art as the cover. So we've got a little more art. Using this booklet for all game rules. Unlike the Learn to Play, this document does not teach players how, instead is meant to be consulted as questions arise. And it contains a glossary. I do love glossaries. So yeah, it seems like this is just like basics, and if you have any major questions, you're gonna consult this one. It's kind of a cool thought. It does raise a couple questions of am I going to have a lot of questions about how to play it after reading the basics? But it is 14 pages and then has that index. So, and on the back of this one is that quick reference guide. I love reference guides. And then we've got punch outs. It seems like one of smaller pieces, and then 2 that have some character pieces and larger map size pieces. The board that we'll look at in a second. Don't eat this, throw it in the trash, or discard of it properly. We've got some bags, 3 of them, and then seems like 3 decks of cards. We'll see if that actually ends up being the case. As with these always, they tend to multiply in decks. You think it's gonna be 1, then it really ends up being 4. And then there's this package that has minis. It says minis. Dump them all out. They all came pre-packaged. But what I sort of like is that they're pre-painted, which is awesome. But I'll take a closer look at these as well as all the other pieces in just a second. So this is everything out of its plastic. We did in fact have more than 3 decks like I initially anticipated. We had these red ones that seem like they're gonna belong to characters and have special abilities. It almost seems wolf form, feed, misdirect, dark call. Then we also had tons of decks. This, which looked like some sort of like, has a book with a skull and wings on it, but seems kind of like damage, or this is gonna be like deck building maybe. Escape as a bat, claws. These do seem to be a little bit geared towards Dracula, fangs, claws, bat form. Transitioning to this one. This one's quite a bit bigger. Sister Agatha, play immediately to search a location or as an ally. A lot of people, rumors, scouts. This one doesn't have any cool art on this side, just words. Evil presence. But yeah, quite a bit thicker than that initial deck. And then going back to that like book kind of theme, we move to this one, which has holy bullets, heavenly host, knives, punches. So these seem to be like a mix of attacks as well as item type things. Holy bullets, that can't be good for Dracula. Stakes, you know, a garlic wreath. So this seems like this might work well with or for the hunters. We also had again that symbol with that wings and the skull for Great Wolf, Hidden Schemes. So these looked very similar to this deck, except for the fact that it's just a slightly different color on the front side. And then of course that the back is different. Dracula's Bride, you know. But yeah, other than the color, they are almost the same other than the color and then that symbol. We had these with that red and this like monster face kind of thing. And these looked like locations. So this is Strasbourg, Paris, you know, a whole bunch of them. With the strangeness, oddness, strangeness. So this is the same face, just instead of that red, they're blue. And this is like Adrondic Sea, Black Sea, Channel, Irish Sea. So these ones are all water-based and thus the color, but if do we use them? Is that a special advanced variant? Who knows? And then this creepy looking hand shadow on this like wall. Wolves, spies, rats. Some of them also have this matured effect on the bottom. I'm not sure what it's gonna do. New vampires. So these look like a whole host of different things. None of them really good. Oh, and look at that, I missed something. There is this one, almost the same as those locations, except for it's got the castle and it is Castle Dracula. One of the reasons why that got lost is these decks were very confusing. Normally you open a deck and it's just like, you know, stacked on top of each other. These were all mixed where it was like 3 of these, then 1 of these, then 3 of these. So you really had to sort through every single deck to try to find anything and everything. And then they had some cards that tell you what your actions are, some reference cards. Okay, let's scoot these things over and look at some of those punch outs. So we had that face that was on those locations. It had a punch out that then separates into 3 different pieces. It was a little creepy when I punched it out and it broke everywhere. Was not expecting that. Some fangs, just a little spot to, it seems like something should go here. but I don't think anything does. I don't have any pieces that could fit there. We have these like wound marker kind of looking pieces. It looks like blood or a heart. It looks like a heart. We have some hidden faces where they're just shadows, some X's. X marks the spot. And then, oh my God, just throw it everywhere, Cassandra, throw it everywhere. So we have one of these larger ones that's got this symbol on it, and it's very similar, if not the same symbol, in this token, which we have 3 of. And then we have this cool time one, which is just a clock on this side, and on the other side it's also a clock, but it's dark, almost like we've gone to night. We had these trains pieces that then you flipped over, and they had numbers on them. So this is 1 out of 1, 3 out of 2. We just have ones. And if they had this slash, the second number is yellow instead of that white. More things. We had those shadow-like figures kind of come out, almost like they're entering in some place. These ones that had bats on them, and then these lightning storm ones also. So those were all of the like pieces that we're gonna be working with, but then there were also your players that you have. There are 5 of them, 1 for everyone. You have Dracula, who has Rage, Pride, and the Fury, and it looks like 15 health. You have Mina Harker, Van Helsing, Dr. John Stewart, and Lord Gameling. And they all seem to have a little bit of some special powers: the psychic bond, leader, prepared, wealth. And along the side, they also have turn sequence. So what the hunters do, what Dracula does, and of course how much health they have. Oh, and look, that symbol seems like it matches, and Mina Harker doesn't get one. I don't know why. And then this map that is just a map of, seems like it's gonna almost match that boar map. Not sure what its purpose is, if it's got any, or if it's just to like pass around so you can see it closer up. Then, as I said, I would show these. So these are the player miniatures, pre-painted. Look at that. This looks like it's gonna be Lord Godalming. They have some nice detail in the clothing. The face does look a little creepy. Looks like they worked really, really hard, but they just, mass producing them. The eyes, the hardest part. You've got here Dr. John Stewart. Again, really good detail. Some of the paint, mainly in the face and those eyes, are just a little creepy looking, but still, they even were able to get his cross to have Jesus being held up by it, and he's in a different color. You've got Mina Harker, again, this detail in her skirts and dress and that scarf where you can see all of those curves and ruffles. You got Van Helsing. And then we, of course, have Dracula. So I'm excited that those were pre-painted. Means that I don't need to paint them. I do enjoy painting them, but I know a lot of people don't. So bonus, pre-painted. But that was all of the pieces and cards and stuff. But what does the board look like? Well, I'll show you. So this is the board. It's that map that we were looking at earlier, just, you know, on a much larger scale. We have places to put cards here and then along here. And then a tracker for what day it is, Monday through Sunday. And there's two, it looks like maybe a day and a night. And then some sort of tracker here, 0 through 13. But let's see how we get it all back into the box. So I am a little disappointed with the box. They gave us this nice mini cardboard box to put that those minis came out of, that I really wanted them to go back into to, you know, they're gonna knock themselves off, but they're not gonna run into like decks of cards and other things that are heavier than another mini. But when that in there just is not enough room, it seems, for the rest of these pieces to go in really nicely. And so there is a little bit of unevenness. It's not too bad. It does, for the most part, completely fit inside there. Just a couple corners that like stick out a little bit. But was a little disappointing that they had that section to put everything in that looked really nice, at least that they put some thought into it, and then it just wasn't big enough for the game. Rule books can go on top. So that was what was in the box of Fury of Dracula. This is one of those asymmetrical cooperative games where it's a group versus one, and I'm really excited because it's only 2 players minimum, where normally those are, you know, those 3-player minimum games. If you like this video, hit that button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get reminders of our newest videos.